The baby lying under a red printed blanket is gasping for air. Her tiny chest is convulsed with the effort of drawing oxygen into her lungs, and, as her mother looks on helplessly, her pupils roll back under half-closed eyelids. Sumaya, 6 months old, from Lodwar, Kenya, is suffering from the disease parents here fear the most: pneumonia. Without treatment, she could be dead in a day or two. In Kenya, one of the worst countries affected by the disease, it claimed the lives of 22,473 people in 2015, almost all under the age of 2. But Sumaya, the daughter of a businessman, is one of the lucky ones. Her mother, Fatuma Abdi, brought her to hospital when she began breathing very rapidly, a telltale sign that pneumonia has become life-threatening. In Turkana, a rural county where awareness of the symptoms is poor, her mother's quick thinking helped save her. Only half of children in sub-Saharan Africa with such symptoms are brought to a healthcare facility. Pneumonia kills 2 children under 5 every minute, or almost 1 million a year worldwide, more than malaria, diarrhea and measles combined, according to research published by Save the Children on Thursday. Yet it can be treated with antibiotics, such as amoxicillin, costing as little as 30p. The report, Fighting for Breath, shows that fewer than 60% of health facilities in Kenya, Tanzania, the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Mauritania have amoxicillin available. In Uganda and Nepal, the figure falls to a quarter of facilities. The charity is calling for cheaper vaccines and action plans by governments to ensure universal access to healthcare. In the acute ward of Lodwar Hospital's pediatric unit, Abdi sits cross-legged on a rubber mattress beneath a jaunty mural of Donald Duck. She gathers her exhausted infant in her arms. A nurse places a face mask over Sumaya's nose and mouth. It is attached to a portable nebulizer to help open her airways before she is given antibiotics. At Lodwar Hospital, Fatuma Abdi holds her daughter, Sumaya, while a nurse uses a nebulizer to ease the child's rapid breathing. Photograph Jennifer Huxta for The Guardian. The effect is immediate and dramatic. Moments later, Sumaya opens her eyes. Her breathing quietens and she looks up at her mother, whose face breaks into a wide smile of relief. "I was so stressed, I was in a panic," says Abdi, 38. "But now, look, the child is happy. She is even looking at me." In Turkana, an arid region in northern Kenya, close to the border with South Sudan and Uganda, the acute respiratory disease is common among pastoralists who use charcoal and wood fuel for cooking. Here, most children are offered vaccinations for pneumonia. But a severe and ongoing drought affecting the Horn of Africa has led to widespread hunger and malnutrition, which weakens the immune systems of the vulnerable, including babies. The nutrition situation in parts of Turkana remains classified as extremely critical, and, in total, 3.4 million people are expected to be in need of emergency food aid by the end of 2017. A mother and her children at the acute malnutrition ward in Lodwar Hospital. Drought has led to severe food insecurity, which in turn worsens the risks of dying from diseases such as pneumonia. Photograph Jennifer Huxta for The Guardian. Already, 1 child in every 4 in the country is malnourished, making them more susceptible to disease. A severely malnourished child is 9 times more likely to die from pneumonia than one who is well-fed. Worse still, malnutrition makes it more difficult to treat. Pneumonia is the highest cause of morbidity and mortality here, says Adrian Katuma, the pediatrician in Lodwar Hospital, a 132-bed institution that serves the entire county. Most are likely to have malnutrition and sometimes rickets and other diseases. But it is pneumonia that brings them to the ward. Katuma is frustrated by the number of very serious cases of pneumonia he sees. Antibiotics are not given often and early enough at the county dispensary health centers, he says. Neither are Turkana's 1.2 million people, mostly pastoralists, educated in looking out for signs of the disease. I would say 90% of people are not aware, Katuma says. The drought has caused significant losses of livestock in Turkana, where most people are pastoralists and depend on their goats, camels, and cows for milk, meat and currency. Photograph Jennifer Huxta for The Guardian. A pilot project run by local Save the Children staff in Turkana hopes to address some of these issues. It trains villagers as community health volunteers, diagnosing the symptoms of pneumonia and other diseases, as well as encouraging breastfeeding and practices that reduce disease, such as hand washing. The volunteers use a simple but ingenious diagnostic tool already proven in other countries: a set of green and red beads, like a giant necklace, along with a timer, to count a child's breaths. If they finish up with a red bead in their hand, they know the child is breathing too fast and make a referral to the nearest health facility, where antibiotics can be administered. More serious cases are referred to the hospital. The £250,000 project, which began in 2016 in Loima Sub-County, has trained 93 volunteers, who have referred 1,000 cases so far. Indicators suggest pneumonia cases have fallen countywide since the scheme began, although it is unclear what is responsible for the drop. In June 2016, there were 4,152 pneumonia cases in Turkana County. This June, the number fell to 2,555. But fighting the disease, in the face of the drought and the political upheaval following the country's election troubles, remains an uphill struggle. A nurses' strike in June, which followed a doctors' strike, has crippled Kenya's health service in recent months. The strike, caused by a dispute over poor pay and working conditions, has doubled the maternity death rate. Doctors who spoke to The Guardian estimate deaths from pneumonia have also doubled since the strike began in June. Immunization rates have fallen and babies are not being vaccinated against TB or pneumonia, they say. Hospital staff expect to see a rise in numbers of cases of both. I would say mortality of the children admitted with pneumonia has doubled since June, says Katuma. Children in Lodwar Hospital. 4 out of 8 of the children in the stabilization unit have severe or moderate acute malnutrition. Photograph Jennifer Huxta for The Guardian. On the day The Guardian visits the hospital, there are 2 pediatric nurses on duty, for 50 to 60 patients. The nurse who treats Sumaya does not want to be named but says she has volunteered to work because she cares about the children and hopes to be paid when the strike is over, perhaps after the election. The other is Paris Nyakundi, one of 2 nurses funded by Save the Children. This month has been hard, says Nyakundi. Malnutrition rates are still high. That happens when there is no food. 4 of the 8 children in the stabilization unit have severe or moderate acute malnutrition. Their mothers, whose brightly colored kangas and high, beaded collars mark them out as members of the nomadic Turkana tribe, talk of eating just 1 meal a day if 2. The amounts are very small. Celine Kibo, 24, whose daughter, Akalapitan, is being treated for acute malnutrition and pneumonia, has 2 other children at home, both of whom are also malnourished. We used to have goats, but they died in the drought, says Kibo. What worries me most is getting food for the children. The effects of the crisis are starkly apparent in the village of Kachimari, an hour's drive from Lodwar along a dusty, bumpy road, crisscrossed by dry riverbeds. Sitting on a low-lying trunk of an akakai tree, Akua Maitir, who is not sure of her age, holds her second daughter, Adakaya Kokot, in her arms as she talks about how she lost her firstborn to pneumonia. She was determined that her second child, who also developed the disease, would not suffer the same fate. So she took her to be treated at a health center and, from there, she was referred to Lodwar, where she received antibiotics. Akua Maitir at home in Kakamari village, Turkana. Akua lost a child to pneumonia last year. Her 1-year-old daughter, Adakaya Kokot, was diagnosed with the disease in August. Photograph Jennifer Huxta for The Guardian. She is now doing well, Adir says. Asked what she eats, Adir gestures at an ingal, a wild fruit, lying on the sandy ground, which is chewed for its juice. Beyond that, she relies on food aid, provided locally by donors, though she and her husband often go to bed hungry. The drought has affected us severely, she says. Even the livestock is dying because there is no pasture and no water. Dave Kahianu, the area program manager for Save the Children in Lodwar, says that while a massive aid funding effort by donors, governments and aid organizations averted a famine in drought-affected areas of Kenya, Ethiopia and Somalia back in March, preventing a lot of deaths and saving many families from dangerous levels of food insecurity, the effects remain evident. The community here are pastoralists, he says. During the drought they lost many animals, so restocking them takes a long time. We are in the season of short rains, and if the rains don't last till December, the restocking won't happen and the community will be at risk. We are not out of the woods.